What has been your favorite collaboration for your albums so far, and who is on your wish list for the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Philippians is the first time that we collaborated with anybody, and it was never really in the cards that Psallos was going to start partner musicians. But the reason why we did it for Philippians is because Philippians is such a friendship letter, and you can
Mm.
see that just the way that Paul writes it. Not only is his tone, it's warm, obviously, but like he spent time with the church at Philippi. He knows them, and you see that
Mm.
just in chapter and at all moments of the text where he's just, he's very personal with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why one of the layers of this album is this friendship narrative, and on the album cover it even says that Psallos and
And
friends, to try to
friends,
bring that
yeah.
out. And because of that, like there are some songs on there where I'm trying to help you to feel that more. It's one thing to like to say it's all and friends, to bring that out. For example, there's a song on there called what's it called? Honor These Men. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of my favorite songs on the album because Thomas and Kelsey, they're our lead singers, and I
Mm-hmm.
love them both dearly. I've known them since they were really young. But I met them when they were in college, and they sing so well together. They're good friends, and I've always thought about them as just they're my friend. Like I just love them so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that song, it was intentionally designed so it sounded like they're sitting at a piano, just kind of goofing off together, and out pops this song that they're
Mm-hmm.
singing. But that's an example of trying to convey this friendship nature to just the listener. I think this is people making music together for the glory
Mm-hmm.
of God. But then the other part of that was bringing in these guest artists, these solos and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I had that idea, then it was a matter of reaching out to people, and done that before, really. And I know I had my wish list, my dream
Yeah.
team of people that I'd love to have,
Yeah.
and then some of it just wasn't realistic.
Mm.
But I wanted to keep an open mind about who these people were. I wanted to find people that I wasn't trying to go for people who were famous that would
Mm-hmm.
draw our listenership necessarily, but people whose like their mission was similar to ours. Like they're in it for the gospel. They're in it to
Yeah.
proclaim God, even if they're doing it in ways than us. That's okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so Andrew Peterson is a great example that I've been very much influenced by his music. Even his Behold the Lamb. It's an example of a concept album.
I love that
And
album.
Christian music, it's fantastic. It's different in many ways, but whenever like I did Romans, that was one of the few reference points I had for what a concept album in Christian music even be like. And I remember I saw him when I was in high school a few times, and I loved Canaan Bound. It was just always one of my favorites. Such a beautiful song, which he co-shive. So he was someone that I was hopeful that we could get to be part of this, and that worked out. That to start answering your question, he's one of the that I was very excited about having on board. Thomas Griffith, who he's the male lead singer on our album, he plays piano with Andrew
Mm-hmm.
and tours with him, and so we had more of a direct of
Yeah.
talking with them. And I'll just brag about Thomas for a little bit. So Thomas, he's a great singer. Obviously, he does all the guy parts that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fantastic pianist.
Oh wow.
And just a really good musician. He has a great ear. He helps me do a lot of the production work. So I him a lot. But we got in touch with Andrew, and this was all during COVID. We did this, which tons of other little hurdles we had to cross with that. But I wrote this Andrew to sing. I just thought he's for the of life and death. It's a great song. I think of him as an artist that he doesn't take himself too. And I mean that as a compliment, meaning that it's about the art, it's about the message. He's a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
If you love Andrew, it's because of the stories that he tells, and I mean the whole Wing Feather Saga too. But
Yeah.
that's just great. So that was one that was just a joy for me to get to collaborate with him and to have him sing one of my songs when I respect his songwriting so much. It was also intimidating having to kind of be in the studio and saying, can we do it again, Andrew? Because he's a great vocalist, of course, but that's just part of being an engineer and producer is like, how dare I even ask Andrew not to sing it a second time? But he is as charming and as just good-natured in person as you expect him to be, just from his creative output. So such a great guy. That was awesome. From a personal standpoint, I think they elevated the song, having it being sung by him, and then bringing in the Dvorak as part of. He said he loves the Dvorak's Ninth Symphony, the Going Home, which we could talk on if you wanted to, but it was just that was really good. And so we had 4 clients on Philippians. Taylor Linhart, she's just got such a sweet voice. I've enjoyed her stuff, and I thought she was perfect for that one song at the end. Dennis Parker is not a told name. I'm sure if anybody saw the name, had to look it up. But Dennis, he plays with Kentucky Thunder, which is Ricky Skaggs, and so he's a Grammy award-winning musician. But Dennis has just a fantastic testimony. He was saved like 6 or 7 years ago, and this is private. He wrote an album telling his story, but his story is essentially he was addicted to alcohol, and even a part of all these like kind of Christian records before he was completely lost, and he spent time in jail like not too long ago. The Lord just redeemed him out of that, and time with Dennis Parker, and it's just Jesus just comes out of him. He's so grateful for salvation. And he's a great singer, and he did almost all the mandolin, banjo, guitar, fiddle parts on the album. He's just so talented, but he's humble. And so having him on the song, Humble Yourself Like Jesus, like for me, it was like, perfect. Dennis does that. Dennis in his life in humility, he understands not only Philippians 2, but Philippians 3, that he counts all for the sake of knowing God, knowing Christ. And that was just very me. But probably, I guess I'm just going through all of them, but the one that I look back with such gratitude to the Lord for is Shai Linne. Yeah. And I don't know if y'all know much about Lynn's music. Yeah. I'm not like big into rap and hip hop, but at some point Shai Linne was put on my radar, and I remember the first time I looked him up, I was blown away by what he's trying to do. Like, even if you don't like, if those are go-to listening styles, you see very clearly that he is completely committed to proclaiming Christ in a clear, edifying way, like unabashedly Christian music. His lyrical theology is just fantastic. Attribute God, goodness gracious. And just how clever he is. His lyrics, especially, like if you just go to his website and look at his lyrics, it's just beautiful, amazing, powerful, potent poetry that he's put together. He's a master at these little devices, not only end rhyme, which he does, but internal rhyme, slant rhyme, humor, sense of humor. Everything about it I admire. So I mentioned how the song I Am Better Than You, like I wanted it to be a rap song. And then it was the challenge of, okay, how many rap artists do I know? It's not many. It's probably zero. And so then I started just thinking, okay, what's my wish? Shai Linne's number one. I looked at some other, reached out to some other artists, and dead end. I'm sending these emails out like, hey, you don't know me. My name's Cody. I oversee this group you've never heard called Psallos. Do you want to partner with us? And you can imagine how many just non-responses I got for those. But for Shai, I was persistent. I think I probably pursued him for like almost a year, sending out email. Thankfully I had met him like in 2016. We went to New Jersey to do this conference on Romans. We were part of just doing music there, and Shai was one of the speakers. So I introduced myself. I gave him a CD, and like that was that. Yeah. But then I emailed him, and it was just he's a busy man, and just didn't get anywhere. I became patrons on Patreon. One, because I wanted to support him, but two, is like, well, that gives me an extra way of maybe trying to contact him, and so I'll just everything I got. Like, I'm not going to give up on Shai. Uh, and then like out of the blue, this is like maybe December of whatever, I don't know what year this was, but it was in December. He emails back and says, "Hey, so sorry, I just haven't responded. You still wanting to do this?" It's like, okay, I have a glimmer of hope. And so I said, yes, if you can just, I wrote an email. I said, if you can give me 15 minutes of your time for a Zoom session, I just want to pitch you this song. And so the song, it's a hard thing to have to explain. Like, here's what I'm going to do. I want you to pretend like you're bragging in your Jewishness, but really you're going to at how great Christ is.
Yeah.
And so I knew that he didn't say that 15 minutes at a time, but I was just trying to take advantage of it as possible.
Yeah.
And so I ended up writing the entire song myself. I recorded a demo of me rapping it, and it's about as bad as you would imagine it would be.
I'm sure it's fine.
It was enough to convey what I wanted to do, and so I explained the song to him briefly. And then he lives in Philadelphia, so we're hours apart. But when I played for him, I created like a little PowerPoint lyric slide because I wanted him to understand, like, here's what I'm trying to do. But he laughed at the right spots. He totally understood the tongue-in-cheek nature of the song.
Mm-hmm.
He was just great, and he said, "You know what? I'd like to do this. I'm really busy right now, but if I do it," he said, "I want to take the song and rewrite the lyrics because," he said, it was important for him that it sounds authentically Shai with all of his, because the way he writes lyrics is different than the way that I write lyrics. And that's even better because I don't know if you know this about Shai, but like someone did an assessment years ago, like ranking the best rap artists of all time, and this is Christian and non-Christian, and Shai was ranked 4th as the best rappers of all time. Like, so he's as a performer, he's very good at what he does. But I was always a big fan of the lyrics, so he said, "I want to write the song, rewrite it, make it a little bit more my own voice." So then it kind of pushed our timetable back a little bit, but it was totally, whenever I listened to his first rendering of it, I was just blown away by how much, one, he accomplished what I was hoping he would accomplish, but just he did it seemingly so effortlessly. He's so funny, he's so clever, and that was just it just did so much for my heart to hear him rap that song, and just to partner with someone I respect so much. And not that Shai needs any help from us for people to know about him, but that I can, whatever small listenership that we have, that we can say, "Hey, go listen to his stuff," because if you like theology, then it's certainly good stuff. So I think Shai and Andrew, of course, were just some of my favorites, but the one with Shai was especially very neat for me. So then you had a second question. Sorry, I'm a bit long-winded. I could talk about these people for a long time. Future collaborations, I don't really have a list, and I don't know to what degree we will collaborate with others moving forward. That was a part of the Psallos and Friends aspect of Philippians, but it has opened that door a bit more. So the album that we're about to release in 3-4 months it's a Hymns of Romans album. That there's a chance that Sandra McCracken might sing a song on that. We're still dialoguing with her, see if it can happen. But just people that we sort of kind of know that live in Nashville, that if the Lord puts them, within kind of on our route, then those conversations will go up. But I like Sandra a lot. I love her music, and so that would be neat. But for future projects, I don't know. It's not going to be trying to find like these headliners per se, but people that we respect, that just as Paul was partnering with people in his gospel labors, like who else could we partner with? I think really moving forward, a lot of my collaboration will be more on the composing end of things, which is a hard thing to give up. I do all the writing and all the lyrics and all the orchestrating, and it's just I'm doing too much with these projects. So I'm praying for the Lord to bring other songwriters, composers, lyric writers who could kind of bolster me as I'm feeling a little bit fatigued and worn down from all this. But our goal is to do all 21 epistles, and we're 4 down, so we have 17 more to go. And if that's just something that I about, and there's a few people that it could work out, but it's also it's a tough thing to give up. But we'll see what the Lord does.
Well, we know for sure that the Lord has so much talent in and around you where you are in Tennessee, and obviously throughout the world. And so we're excited to hear what he brings to the table for your future albums.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Hymnpartial podcast, but before you go away, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you are notified whenever we release new content on this channel. For more information like how to support us or to sign up for our free weekly newsletter, make sure you head over to hymnpartial.com.